What if the story I have been telling myself about who I am is untrue? See, self-awareness is helpful for a few things. One, it's helpful to identify our maladaptive childhood story. Two, it challenges us to consider if the story is true or not. Three, if it's untrue, we can now consider what is our authentic story. And four, it gives us an opportunity to live in our original and true story. Here's a Jewish parable called A King's Diamond. There was once a king who owned an enormous and very beautiful diamond. Every day the king took the diamond from its jewel-encrusted box and looked with awe as the gem transformed sunlight into magnificent, shimmering kaleidoscopes of color. It made the king very happy. One day the king accidentally dropped the diamond. It grazed the side of its box and then fell heavily to the floor of the throne room. Picking it up, the king found a long, jagged scratch down one side of the stone. Horrified, he immediately called upon his royal jewelers to repair the gem, but they were unable to do so. The king then called upon other jewelers from other lands near and far, but none of them were able to repair the diamond as the king wanted. Finally, an old man appeared at the palace and said that he could repair the king's jewel. The king and his advisors were wary at first, but then realized they had nothing to lose. They invited the pauper to proceed. The old man retreated into a cell. After working for an entire week, he emerged and handed the king his diamond box. Sitting upon his throne, the king opened the box, smiled with delight, and held up the jewel for all to see. The pauper had not removed the jagged line at all. Instead, he had etched an image of a rose onto one end of it, leaving the scratch as the stem of the beautiful flower. Some scars won't go away, but if we turn them over to the original artist, he can make us look even more beautiful than before. The invitation here is to find the beauty in our imperfections, however they manifest themselves. Do you ever hear your inner voice say any of these things? You must be better than you are. People will only love you for what you do for them. You are what you do. You are what you feel. You are what you know. You have no safe place to go. You must provide your own nurture. You are unsafe. You're not worthy. Here are some of the common maladaptive stories from childhood that each type has. Ones, you must be better than you are. You're not good enough. You must do things perfectly to be recognized. Twos usually hear, you're not important enough to be cared for. Or sacrifice is the only way to be loved. Or people will only love you for what you do for them. Threes typically hear, you are rewarded for what you do, performance matters, and you are what you do. Fours can typically hear this, you're abandoned, alone, or cast off. You must escape to the only safe place, your emotions and in your isolation. And they hear this, they pick this up, you are what you feel. Fives typically hear, you're exposed and defenseless. You must build walls and retreat to the mental realm. They get to this point. You are what you learn. Sixes hear this story. You have no safe place to go. You must turn to your own inner defenses and doubting and reject your own instincts. You're not safe. Sevens can hear this story. You're deprived of nurture. You survive by seeking distractions to minimize pain and fear. You must focus on the positive. You can't rely on others for nurture, so you must provide it for yourself. Eights can hear, you're unsafe. You must be mature and demonstrate maturity by being in charge. You are too weak, so you must be strong and be controlling. Nines hear, you're overlooked, neglected, and feel lost. You decide to keep a low profile and you focus on the needs of others. Nines can hear you're not worthy. Your input is not important. Can you identify the childhood message that comes to you involuntarily without you inviting it in? Based on the story you began telling yourself in childhood, you begin using survival techniques, fight, flee, freeze, along with the thoughts that we just went through. But what if the story you tell about yourself is untrue? Continue on and do the following exercise to try to uncover the story and the messages that you might have heard in your childhood.